Good morning, and welcome to the Lone Star Weekly Business Hour. Your host, Rick Schissler, is a Silver Fox advisor who personally has over 40 years of experience as a serial entrepreneur. So sit back, pull out your pad and pencil, and get ready to take notes as we join Rick Schissler in his Lone Star Weekly Business Hour.
Good morning. This is Rick Schissler, your Silver Fox advisor, welcoming you to another edition of the Weekly Business Hour. We have a wonderful show planned for you today. We have two guests in the studio today, so partners and also family relations. So it should lead to a lively discussion about running their business, but we'll save that for just a moment. As we start the show today, I want to give a big shout out and thanks to the Conroe Noon Lions Club for sponsoring the Kids on the Lake fishing tournament this past Saturday out at the NTG Texas Lake in Willis. Dick and the Lone Star crew were out there broadcasting live, and it was the kids, it appeared, if you listen to the program, had a lot of fun. It's an annual event. Special needs kids gives them a chance to have some time outside on the lake and participate in a quote-unquote fishing tournament. More about having fun than I think winning, and that's great. But thank you again to the Conroe Noon's Lions Club for sponsoring that event. We'll start off the show as we usually do, where I offer some business advice and tips and perhaps some news you can use. And I want to start by picking up where we left off last week. In fact, we've left off the last few weeks, going through one of the 8 principles that last a lifetime. If you recall, this is an article that was written by Jeff Hayden, and I picked up on it on LinkedIn. And it's been very interesting. And I'd like to pick up and go with number 6. Number 6 on the list is eat as many of your words as you can. And boy, does he mean it literally. What does that mean? Perhaps when I read that the first time, I said, eat as many words as you can. Well, it means exactly what it says. It says when you look back, and one of the best things to be is wrong, because when you make a mistake, you're given a chance to learn. And I personally believe in that philosophy. I've made mistakes. I had one business that failed. And these are the kind of things that teach us. This is called experience. But when you say something, regardless of what that you might say, it might be something rude inadvertently, then be prepared to take those words back, to eat those words. And this includes mistakes that you might make in your business. And also, as I mentioned earlier, if you have a business failure, maybe not the entire business, maybe you just made a mistake that caused the business a setback, just realize it's been done, accept that you did make the mistake, and tell yourself that, accept responsibility, because then and only then, and I agree with Jeff here, then and only then can you pick yourself up, put your pants back on, tighten them up, and keep moving. So he points out, say you made a mistake, say you messed up, say it to other people, but more importantly, look in the mirror and say it to yourself, and then move on. So I think it's interesting. So the idea, commit to making sure that next time you'll make things turn out differently. And that's the key. Don't just admit to the mistake. I love it when I'm watching some type of ball game and, these professional athletes particularly, they'll point at themselves like, my bad, and I laugh at that now. The key is making the commitment that it doesn't happen again. I was given that advice personally many, many years ago when I was a teenager by someone who was a mentor to me, a great mentor to me, and says, even tell someone, say, I made a mistake. I did this, and I will tell you it will never happen again. And I've done that a number of times in my life, and it's amazing the kind of response. A lot of times people just will look at you and say, you what? They rarely does it happen that people will admit to someone, I made a mistake, and it will not happen again. So that's the attitude you have. So take that away, please, and think about that. I think it's a very helpful principle that it can help you personally as well as in your business. The next item I'd like is to talk about is an article I found in Fox News this past week. It was really in honor of Mother's Day. So I know Mother's Day was yesterday, but we didn't have a show yesterday. So I consider this kind of the post-Mother Day. So if you'll bear with me, this was an article I picked up, as I said, in Fox Business News, written by Brad Smith. It was published on May 8th on foxnews.com, and it was the 7 business lessons I learned from my mother. Well, I hope everybody listening to this program had a chance to learn something from their mother, and I hope it was positive. But rarely do people think about their mothers, at least in the generations that have come before us. Maybe going forward, it'll be different. In fact, it is already different, where many mothers, many women have jobs. In fact, we have two ladies here in the audience today that have, that are being interviewed with us today, that are running their own businesses. So they have business lessons to share with their family. But this individual, his mother's 85 years old, and this not necessarily that she was in business, or worked in the workforce other than being a mother, but she had a lot of good ideas about how you can personally as well in your business do a better job, and I think they're great. And the first one is love everyone and hate no one. Now, okay, everybody's sitting here, oh, that's good, that's all around us, but the idea is, in your business, in your own life, be kind and respectful of everyone. And that can take you a long way in your career, take you a long way in your business. I mean, when somebody, and I had one of my clients the other day talking about how someone came into their business and just got in their face and just emotionally out of control, and the person with them, who was a family member, was a young woman, was in tears, and the person that was doing the acting was her mother. And she couldn't believe her mother would act like that in public. And there really wasn't a rationale or a reason for her to do it. But my client just stood there and smiled and respected that something was going on that she didn't know about. And she just listened it out. And the thing she hated most was the fact that the daughter standing there crying because she's so embarrassed about what's going on. So respect people. Be kind, even in the face of, let's call it adversity. It's a good thing to do. And don't forget to always use please and thank you. That sounds like a mom, doesn't it? The second one is be honest and be yourself. That's a given. Be honest, be yourself. Don't try to fake it. So many times in life, we've been around people, I know everyone's experienced this, that they're faking it. They're not being who they are. It makes hard to do business with them. If you're trying to do business with them, people want to do business with people they sense that are honest and are real. And just like I talked about just a moment ago, make a mistake, look them in the eye, and say, gosh, I'm sorry, I made this mistake. It won't happen again. The third one is share. Boy, that one sounds like a mom too, doesn't it? Share your toys, Junior. But this is the idea that no matter if you have one person or 100 people you work with, share with them all the time. Share information. Keep them updated on business projects, future goals. If you own a business, communicate with your employees. Communicate with your vendors and tell them what you're doing. I mean, it doesn't have to be long and drawn out, but always be communicating with people and complimenting people about what they're doing. This is what sharing, apparently in Brad Smith's mother's eyes was. It was more than just share those blocks with the other kids. If you fall down, get back up. We've already touched on that. Obviously, everybody hits a bump and falls down at least once, most of us many times. But get back up, take each setback, move forward. And Jeff points out, my mother always told me I could become anything I wanted to be. She taught me to believe in abundance, not scarcity. And I think that's a key thing there, is that there's plenty of opportunity out there. There's plenty of work to be done, and you can be successful if you have the right attitude. Think before you speak. Well, again, we touched on that a little bit earlier. That's a great one. Always think about what you're going to say. And one of the benchmarks of a good leader is that they listen more than they speak. In fact, the guidance here is listen twice as much as you speak. That will make you a better leader and a better business person. 6, and here comes the real mother, don't skip the most important meal of the day. Everybody needs to have breakfast. Well, the point is, and I think it goes beyond just the food part and having the energy that comes from the food part, but the point is start off every day the right way. Okay, start off every new project in the right way. Have a fresh attitude when you walk out the door regardless of what happened the night before, the day before, the week before. Try to make sure you have the value and the energy you need before kicking off a new day, a new task, or a new idea. And last but not least, number 7, one of my favorites, laughter is the best medicine. Obviously, work life can always be challenging. But the fact is, if you can insert some fun in your workday as an individual, if you have employees, you have customers, vendors, people, always a little bit of fun, a cheerful attitude absolutely goes a long way because it keeps people's spirits high. It fights boredom, and it makes work a lot more enjoyable for you and everybody around you. So thanks, Mom. Thanks to all the moms out there for these tips and all the good things you taught us as we were growing up. We're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk to the two guests we have here. I'm really kind of excited about this because when we were getting ready for the show, these two ladies, I mean, they started talking, and I think we're going to have to just hold on. I think they're going to carry us a long way. So please stay with us. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back and meet our guests for today.
Have you ever wandered around a parking lot trying to look like you actually know where you parked? Then you'll love the Mark and Cindy Show. If buying toilet paper with aloe vera is the most exciting thing you're going to do today, then you'll love the Mark and Cindy Show. Even if you haven't tweeted, you'll still love the Mark and Cindy Show.
How about twerking?
Ew, that was one step over the line, Mark.
Well, you said toilet paper.
Look, we want listeners to tune in to the Mark and Cindy Show at 10 o'clock every weekday morning here on Lone Star Internet Radio.
The Mark and Cindy Show, it's like visiting with your best friends for coffee, except we will never stiff you with a check.
And one of us always knows what she's talking about.
Well, okay, but it's still called the Mark and Cindy Show. You know that.
We'll see. The Mark and Cindy Show. Tune in to Lone Star Radio every weekday morning at 10 o'clock.
The largest flying museum in the world is the Commemorative Air Force, a national organization whose mission is to acquire, restore, fly, and educate the public about U.S. military aircraft and their role in U.S. history. Right here in Spring, Texas, the CAF owns a B-17 bomber, Texas Raiders. Join the iconic Flying Fortress and some of her warbird friends as they honor our Texas veterans during the month of May. See a variety of aircraft and touch a part of history at 2 local events. Join the fun on Saturday, May 10th, or Sunday, May 25th at David Wayne Hooks Airport in Spring. Enjoy an onboard tour with commentary from the crew, or take the ultimate living history flight experience and see Houston from the iconic bombardier's seat on the famous aircraft. For more information, call Texas Raiders at 1-855-FLY-A-B-17, that's 855-359-2217, or go to www.b17texasraiders.org.
You're listening to Lone Star Internet Radio. Now for your daily weather report. Today is Monday, May 12th, 2014. There's a 50% chance of rain today with the high being 86. Southeast winds will be 10 to 15 miles an hour with gusts as high as 20 miles an hour. Later tonight will be cloudy with a low around 71.
This weather forecast is brought to you by Donna Wick Public Relations. You've seen the billboards. That's right, Wicked Publicity. Contact them today at 832-326-1965 and visit them at wickedpublicity.com.
Welcome back to the Weekly Business Hour. This is Rick Schissler, your Silver Fox advisor, and we've reached the part of the program where we have real live guests now. So it's exciting. I want to welcome Rita and Sandy Von Arb to the studio. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
This is
Rita.
And this is Sandy. I didn't
Nice to
prepare
meet
you
you.
for that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to catch you. And you have a business, Sari's Creation. And we're going to talk about it today. And the one thing I need to mention, I need to warn everybody who's listening. These ladies not only share their last name, they're related. They're in-laws, right?
That's right.
Okay, so we in-laws, outlaws, we got everybody here today. So that's great. So tell us a little bit about your business. What do you do in your business?
We actually do custom embroidery. So we can take a logo and put it on a shirt and make it look good for you.
Okay, and what is it that makes your business unique compared? I mean, anybody logo business, I hear that everywhere, but your business is unique. Tell us about it.
Well, we're sister-in-laws, and we do have a lot of fun at what we do. So mostly when the customers come in, they're going to have fun with us. So we are definitely different to deal with.
Well, that is a good point, and we just talked about that, right? You're listening to those business tips.
Yes.
I think that's wonderful. Now, tell us about, where is your business located?
We're off of Rayford Sawdust right now, but we're actually moving down to Spring Cypress area.
Okay.
This week,
In fact, I was going to say you're moving pretty soon.
Yeah,
for
like
me.
this week.
Okay. And you're moving to the Spring Cypress area. Any particular business reason for that move?
Well, actually, the person that we rent from is taking over the building again, so we basically needed to find a new spot. So we just wanted to go a little south and still stay in the area where we live in.
Okay.
So we'd be close by our homes
So
and
it's
our
more
families.
of a convenience thing for
Yes.
y'all as business people.
Yes.
One of the advantages, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not in business for yourself, is the fact that you can locate your business convenient to where you live. So you don't have to make those hour-long drives to downtown, right?
That's correct.
Good reason to be in business, isn't
Yes,
it?
it
One
is.
reason, I should say.
That's right.
Minor to some, but a major one to me, that's for sure. Now, do you all have any employees?
We actually have 3 gals that work for us part-time.
Okay. And so do you use them seasonally, or is this something that you use every day?
Every day, but they kind of switch out their hours
Okay.
depending on what we have going on.
So you provide a flexible work schedule, so to
we
speak.
we do. For one thing, one of the reasons we started our business so we could spend time with our family.
Right.
And we also allow that for our employees too.
Okay, so you've got a work-friendly workplace.
Yes.
Which is cool. I
Yeah.
think that's something that we're the world and the way we are and the way things are working, that if you can do that in your business, I always advocate my clients to see what they can do to be flexible if it's possible.
Yeah, that's what we agree with too, because we think family is very important.
Now, how long have you all been in business?
We've been in business about 9 years now.
Okay.
And the first 5, we were in Rita's home-based. And then we decided to move up a little bit and get our own place. And the next step is to have a storefront. So we're very excited about that.
Well, let me ask you something. I mean, what motivated you 9 years ago to start a business? That's a big step.
Well, we were both working for other people, and we decided we need to work for ourselves and be able to be flexible with our hours and really spend time with our family and our friends and do a lot of networking with a lot of groups and just get out there in the community and really do everything we can do and make a lot of friends along the way as we're doing business.
Now, Rita, were y'all in the monogramming business working for someone else, or were you in other types
Sandy
of
worked
jobs?
for somebody that did it, but I did not. But I've done embroidery, hand embroidery, sewing all my life, so I always liked the creative side
Okay.
of the work.
So you merged those. Well, you really had a different talent, so to speak, but
Yeah.
kind of in the same general area and merged those. But what? Tell us the story. Were you sitting in a restaurant? Were you at the kitchen table? Where were you when you decided to go out and take that risk and start the business?
We spent a lot of time together prior to our starting our business, and we just decided one day we were just sitting there thinking, we need to work for ourselves. And we just sat there and said, we're going to do something. We just don't know what we're going to do. And, you know, she had done sewing, and I had worked at a screen printing and an embroidery location, but they didn't do the embroidery in-house. But we decided we're going to go and we're going to get a couple of machines and we're going to get the lessons and we're going to do it.
Well, that's wonderful.
We had a great time.
Well, yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, please note they're still laughing. They still get along.
Still
Been in
laughing.
business 9 years. That's a good track record. I mean, really,
Yes, it
9
is.
years is a long time
And
today.
we've known each other a lot longer than that.
Well, absolutely. Well, you knew what you were getting into somewhat, right?
That's right.
Partners are difficult. I mean, I've been in partnership. I happen to be the kind of person that really appreciates a good partner because you share responsibilities. You know, you can have that A-B personality, so one takes one side. Yeah. I grew up in a family business where that partner was a really important ingredient, worked well, in my opinion, for a lot of years. So tell people, how important is it to have a partner that complements you and you can work with?
Well, we've said a lot of times we would not want to be doing it by ourselves. I mean, when we go to work, at least we have the other person. We can ask an opinion or give an opinion, and it's just helped us to grow our business a lot.
You mentioned growing your business, and I enjoyed your story about how you decided to start your business. How do you market your business?
We network a lot. We have several groups we're in, a couple chambers and a women's group, and we spend a lot of time, lunch, breakfast, out networking our business.
What has been the best outlet thus far over the 9 years as far as chamber, networking group? What's worked best for you? Anything particular?
Well, definitely the networking groups, and we started in a very small little networking group that's still going on today, and they meet Thursday morning, and we found out when you network, you have to keep coming every single meeting. A lot of people think you go to one meeting, you're going to get a lot of business. It doesn't happen like that. You have to build a relationship with all those people you meet each time and continue to have those meetings and get to know them very well.
Well, I would agree with that. I mean, that's good networking practice.
Yes.
You know, one of the things that's challenging in networking, a lot of people don't, and you mentioned just come that one time or whatever, which is kind of naive in my opinion, but is the idea that I've got to stay in the front of the person's mind that I'm networking with, and I have to also return to them.
Absolutely.
So being the fact good networking means we're giving business to each other, but we're keeping ourselves in the front of their mind, and everybody's so busy today. That's hard to do. Do you have any secrets about how you keep your fellow networkers aware of your business?
Keep showing up.
We keep showing up,
good
and we
point.
email them and constantly stay in touch with them. By
Also
emailing
referrals.
and
We do a
yes.
lot of referrals with the people we've met in all the networking groups.
Yeah, well, that's key to networking. There's no doubt in my mind. Let me ask you something. You mentioned in your business background you were working for somebody that was, I guess, outsourced this part of the business. Tell us a little bit about your working career. I mean, obviously
I've
that helps
actually
you.
had quite a lot of different jobs. I've worked in an office. I worked for Westinghouse for 7 years. I did a lot of office clerical, accounting, all that type of business work. And then here in Houston, I've done a lot of retail work in different businesses, and I love to deal with customers. I didn't like to be behind the scenes as much as dealing directly with the customer. So that's why I really wanted to do this business, so we could actually deal up front with the customers. And that's the part that gets me enjoyment, when they see a product that we've done and them light up and say, wow, this is so awesome. I love it.
So you found your niche. You were working in the back part of, as you say, the back office,
Yes.
and now you moved to the
the
front.
front,
Who
yes.
does the accounting now?
Both of us.
Both of us do.
Okay, so
yes.
you share that responsibility.
absolutely.
What about your business background? Did you have any before you started this business?
Oh, lots.
Okay.
I worked for an oil company, and I've worked bookkeeping. I mean, that was really a major thing. But I've had a lot of different jobs. Retail also. But
So you both brought to the table a lot of experience, it
we
sounds
did.
like.
We did, yep.
And that's got to make it a little bit easier when you start
Yep.
Yes.
to be
And
able
I'm
to.
like her. I like to see the customer, and in fact, I like to see the person come pick up their stuff and see, that they enjoy what we've done for them, because we try to make it the best we can make it. So that's the awesome part about our business.
Well, let me put you on the spot because it's something I didn't warn you about, but it's a great question, and I think you'll probably tell us about a story, because you said that you like to see people pick up where you had an unusual or unique job you were asked to do. That was really fun or exciting or whatever. One that's memorable.
There are so many. I'm not sure
Well, just share one with us.
off the top of my head.
I could think of some that we didn't do because we couldn't get them on the machines, even though they came
We've
and brought it
tried.
and we tried.
Yeah.
But there are a few that we've
So there
learned.
actually is work that you've taken in that
Well,
you
when somebody-
thought you could do, and you
Well,
just, it
we
just didn't work.
we try to do whatever we can to accomplish the job, but some of them you just
That's
cannot
interesting.
It's
put them on the
definitely
machine.
a learning experience in this
Even after 9
business.
years.
Yes, definitely a learning experience. But, customers are real people, too, and they understand if you have something and you want to do it, they want you to do it.
Right.
But if it can't happen, then it just doesn't happen, and that's okay, too. We've done beautiful sashes in the Woodlands area, a lot of different groups, and they really, really, truly love their sashes. So that's another little thing that we do in addition to just regular embroidering.
Right.
We do some sewing also, and we do rhinestone shirts, which is a really big, women love rhinestones. So they love the bling. And that's something we love too. Almost every shirt we have, we've either added bling to embroidering or they're full rhinestone shirts. And we wear all our products. So we're walking advertisements for what we do.
Right.
And believe it or not, even though we both have blue shirts, we didn't call each other and ask what we were
We
wearing
didn't plan
today.
it. We didn't plan it.
Well, I will tell you, though, if you're listening to this and not watching on YouTube, you both have beautiful shirts. I mean, the
Thank
embroidery,
you.
I guess, work and
Thank you.
the bling with the rhinestones.
Thank you.
It's beautiful. I mean, and it obviously took some time to do both of those on the machine or wherever. So really neat
Thank you.
stuff. I never would have thought, though, that somebody could creatively come in something. And so it's kind of like Stump the Star. So we come in and stump you
There you
on
go.
something you can't create.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we try not to turn anything away.
And we
Well,
love
you
to have
can't.
new ideas all the time,
Yes.
new ideas, because that's what keeps things going. It's not the same thing all the time. It's always new ideas.
Well, and that's something they touched on. I mean, obviously, I would think you're in a competitive business.
Oh, yeah.
Because as I alluded to, there are lots of monogramming people out there, and basically you say what makes you different is you just have fun.
We do.
We do.
So the other monogramming people just don't have fun, huh? Is that
We're
what it
sure
is?
not.
I don't think so. From what we hear, let's just put it that way. We're having a good time. So
Well, let me ask you this: and what is the biggest daily challenge you have in your business?
Well, for me, because I'm a start a job to finish a job, some days you just can't finish it, and I have issues with that. I want to finish it. I have to be done, packed, and go. So my challenge is that. So I just have to learn to say, okay, tomorrow's another day, and I can finish it tomorrow.
And I think my challenge is giving up some of the reins to our employees.
No, that's
Because when we first started and did it in her home, her and I were the only two doing the work. And for you to give that up, but you have to, because you have to go to the next level where we can network to bring more business in, but to let them do as great of a job as what we do. Because, of course, you're not the owner. Sometimes, you know, you feel like they're not going to do it as great as you can do it, even though they do. But we had that feeling, you know, can we give up some of the reins to the people that work for us?
Well, and as you probably know, that's a challenge even in the Fortune 100.
Yes.
I'm
Exactly.
a CEO,
Yes, we do.
so don't
Yes.
don't let that keep you up at night. I mean,
Exactly. It
that's
doesn't.
turning over to people, but it's important
getting
if you
there.
want to
Yeah.
grow.
Yeah.
If you
That's
want
right.
to grow.
well, and the
Yes.
gals always remind us that they have to remind themselves that they're at work when they're with us.
Because they're having too much
They have a
fun.
good time,
They've never
too,
worked a
so.
job where they
I've just
enjoy
got to come to
coming.
your shop. This just
You
sounds
do.
like
You do.
I have this vision of balloons and ice cream and just everybody.
not
candy.
Days.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're having a lot of fun here today, and I hope you are. And we're going to take a short break now and then come back and talk further with Rita and Sandy about their business and some of the things they do that might be helpful to you in your business. So please stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment.
Howdy, howdy, folks. Cable Smith, host of the Lone Star Outdoor Show, inviting you to join me Saturday mornings from 7 to 8 on Lone Star Internet Radio for Texas' premier hunting, fishing, and outdoor talk show. So pour yourself another cup of coffee and pull up that stool a little closer to the old campfire, because if you can catch it or kill it in Texas, we're going to talk about it. That's right. Bucks and ducks, gobblers, monster bass, redfish, trout, and a whole lot more. Plus, you never know what outdoor celebrity is going to drop by, from Phil, the Duck Commander Robertson, to fishing legend Bill Dance, or everybody's favorite Uncle Ted Nugent. Heck, we might even mix in an interview and hear some brand spanking new Texas music from one of your favorite Texas musicians like Robert Earl Keen, Brandon Ryder, or the honky-tonk kid himself, Aaron Watson. Loved or hated but never ignored, it's the Lone Star Outdoors Show with me, Cable Smith, Saturday mornings from 7 to 8 right here on Lone Star Internet Radio on irlonestar.com.
Montgomery County United Way's Healthy Living Alliance and the City of Conroe are excited to announce the inaugural Healthapalooza Family Festival. Please join us at Heritage Place right here in Conroe on May 17th from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. There will be various stages of interactive fun demos such as Zumba cardio challenges, interactive sports demonstrations, the Astro Shuttle Crew, a rock wall, and many more. In addition, there will be on-site health screenings and educational vendors to answer questions about health and wellness. The Mammo truck will be providing a limited number of free mammograms as well. We would like to thank our sponsors, Kroger, Anadarko, the YMCAs of Montgomery County, Physicians ER, and Sam Houston State University Health Science Center. as well as our community partners, Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Services and Lone Star Family Health Center. Again, please come out and join the Healthapalooza Family Festival coming to Heritage Place right here in Conroe on May 17th from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m.
This is Rick Schissler, your Silver Fox Advisor. Welcome you back to the Weekly Business Hour. We've been having a great and funny discussion here with Rita and Sandy Von Arb, of Sary's Creations. They're in the monogramming business and in the fun business too, which is wonderful. Great attitude, and it makes me want to go over and check out their business myself. Anyway, back to business. You started this business 9 years ago. More or less, as I would say, to paraphrase, across the kitchen table, decided you wanted to be in business yourself. Carried it as a home business for about 5 years and then finally stepped out and got a location. Many people have followed that track. They start at home, then they get a location, then they get some employees, and in your case, being a retail-related business, you got a storefront. Now you're getting ready to move again. Sounds like the landlord wants his building back. But you're also using this as an opportunity to locate a little more conveniently for you. So this is where, let me ask you, if I was starting a business today, any business, and you guys, you both have, sounds like great business backgrounds, variety of experiences working for other people, and now 9 years for yourself, what advice would you give me if I wanted to start a business today?
Well, I will say, think of something that you would like to do, obviously, and try it for maybe a year. And if it doesn't work out, go another direction. Don't keep doing it year after year, and 20 years later find out this is not what I wanted to do and I'm not having fun. I don't even enjoy going to work, because I felt like all the jobs I've ever had brought me to this day, obviously, and I always wanted to go to work every day. And if it didn't feel like I wanted to go, I had to go another route and find something different. But to find something you enjoy doing and not just, go to work every day and not be happy, because it's not healthy, and, you'll regret it someday. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and I think you just have to have a passion for what you do.
Yes.
And we both seem to have that, and it just stays, I guess, because we have such a variety of things we do.
Right.
Which helps us a lot.
Well, and, one of the things I run into, people say, well, I have a career, and I may be passionate in my career as far as working for someone. I may enjoy the work. But then I want to transfer that, if you will, take that passion into working for myself. Of course, when we work for ourselves, we take on a lot more responsibilities, right?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
And there's a trade-off there. I have that freedom. Have y'all found, is it worth the trade?
I guess in my case, because I had little younger children, I guess, when we first started, and I wanted to be able to, if I had something going on at school with them, I'm leaving, I'm going, because women especially, maybe there are men out there that do this, but more so the moms like to go and do things any chance I could get to be with my kids. I wanted to do it, and I didn't want work holding me back from doing that, and I was still able to make money. So that's how it was with me.
Well, and one of the things with me is I moved from Minnesota, and all my family's up there, and to work a job where you only have so much vacation time and you can only do so many things, it was just too restricting. I came from a job I had a lot of flexibility with, and I missed that part. So I wanted to be able to do that, and we can either go on vacation together, or one of us stays behind and keeps the place going, and the other one goes on a vacation. So. Well,
and so what I hear both of you saying, basically, your trade was flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And the fact that you have a partner,
yes,
that really
We're
helps.
accountable for each other.
Yes.
We really are accountable for each other, and we just took the leap of faith. And if you start your own business, you have to take the leap of faith and say, I'm going to make it, and be very positive about that, because every day you go in, if you're not positive, you may not make it. And people all the time tell us, I had a business and they went bankrupt, or maybe things happen, but we've been very fortunate and blessed. I think the way we've done businesses, we always just did a little step at a time to buy another machine. We started with 2 machines, and we were able to pay cash for those. And so each level we didn't get too far into debt, if you know what I mean.
Right.
And I think sometimes people go way out in debt and they can't come back. And we've been very fortunate, and we think the same way about this, where we want to keep up with what money comes in as the money goes out. You know what I'm saying? That we want to make sure everything is taken care of. And so we want to make sure we're making money. So that's what it comes
let's talk
down
about
to.
that for a minute. I mean, do you all do regular financials? I mean, do you produce a statement every month?
We can.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
we can.
We're both looking at the books all the time, constantly,
so
basically.
So you just know by looking
Yes.
at the cash flow and whatnot
Yes.
is
okay. Good. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're both accountable for it.
Yes.
We both, we use QuickBooks. We both do the same thing in it. So, she sees what's going on. I see. We can both look at the bank account. So it keeps us accountable to each other. And we both feel the same way. Mm-hmm. We've been very blessed because we have our husbands that help us and support us a lot. So that's
really?
been awesome
So they're involved as well in the business?
Well, not doing the business,
Right.
but where we're at, we had to do a build out ourselves, and they did the work for us.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
They're
We're
in
very
construction,
fortunate.
so we're very fortunate that they were able to do a lot of that work for us, where we didn't have to spend a lot of money to do something like that, because sometimes you have to go to a place where you might have to do maybe quite a lot of thousands of dollars of work, where we were able to keep our costs down.
Right.
And and we were very blessed to be able to do that. And even at the new location, they'll help us to get all set up, because they want us to do good. They want us to be successful, just like we want them to be successful in their business. And I know that they'll do anything for us that we ask them to do, with a little bit of twist in their arm.
Well, let me ask you that. Do they work together?
yes,
They work together also.
Wow. I mean, I just sort of got the implication, both construction and you want to be.
Yes, they work together. Yes,
So
there's
2
several
businesses,
brothers.
2 families.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
wow.
Yes, they work together. So they all have
And
to
they've-
get along also.
And they're in the construction business.
they both have been brought up to learn to do things for themselves. So they've learned the carpentry part. Yeah, so they can do a lot of things.
Right.
So we appreciate that, because it's
our
helped
guest-
us out.
Our guest last week, she utilized her husband's construction background. It sounded more like a honeydew thing for him, but he actually did the work. But it's that's his involvement in the business, is building out and utilizing. So it's great to have people around you that can help you.
It is.
Friends, family, whatnot, that can step in and help you on any particular task, whether it be
Exactly.
construction or computers or
Absolutely.
whatever it might
That's
be.
right.
That's right.
Well, that's wonderful. That's an interesting story. Do y'all do any kind of formal planning at all? I mean, do you sit down and say, okay, here's our goal for the next year, or our goals?
little bit.
I mean, do you do that, or you just figure that, well, we're going to do this every day and it's going to get better and better? Or?
We do in a way, but because we're together every single day and we face each other on our desks, it's not one in another room. We're looking at each other, so we're constantly, hey, let's do this and let's try that, and hey, let's go to this networking and let's invest in this a little bit, or whatever we're going to do. We make a decision. I mean, it's constant decisions all day long, decision making with us. And so we don't really do a financial plan in per se like you're referring to, but ours is daily. We're going to say we're going to make this amount of money, and whatever it takes to get to that point, we're doing it.
Okay, but you don't write it down somewhere and say, by the end of the year, we're going to...
Well, we have been starting to do
Okay.
that. Yeah. We have been. We're very positive people, and we've talked to a lot of other positive people and gotten different ideas. And we understand if you write things down, things will happen to benefit you in regard to what you're writing and thinking about. So we're very positive people.
Well, and as we've done the business, we've had little steps where we increased. We have 4 machines now, so and we actually increased our space where we're at. So growing from my house to where we're at, and this year's goal is to have our girls be doing more of the work and us not so they can take a job from the beginning to the end. So we have to teach them that part of the business. So we have little goals that we that we put ourselves forth.
Well, I would encourage you, as I do all my clients as an advisor, to I'm a one-page planner myself. So it doesn't have to be a 50-page formal business plan or a financial plan, but I've got a benchmark or have milestones. And when I personally have done that in business, because it was a time back when I was younger, I didn't do that. But I milestone where I say I'm going to reach this point, and if I don't, I'm going to step back as I'm growing a business and say, okay, what does this mean? What needs to be done? And I actually exited a business one time because I didn't reach a milestone the third year that I felt was important enough to at least put on my piece of paper. So I would encourage you as you develop your business, and particularly as you look towards potentially exiting your business and building somewhat of a plan, because you can do those things. And those are encouragements I give to everybody. But I think it's great. You have your partner's desk, so to speak, where you face each other. And I think that's wonderful. But to have that commitment on paper and pull it out of the drawer every once in a while and review it and say, gosh, we're here, what can we, got to get there. That's wonderful. But let's take the situation I mentioned earlier about, what advice you would give someone, kind of flip that around. Let's go back 9 years ago and you're starting your business. What one thing would you do differently than you did if you had a chance to rewind and start with something and do it different? What would it be?
To be honest, I don't know if I really would have done anything differently. Basically, when we started, neither one of us had run a commercial embroidering machine, ever. So we sort of were going in a little blind. We decided we're doing this, and we went and took a class in another state and still didn't even have our machines yet. Then came back here and got the machines, and we were like, now we need to take the class again. Maybe even, we say this too sometimes because we know a man that does give the class, but he's not local as far as jumping over there every time you turn around. But I guess I'd have to say maybe we could have done it a little bit opposite. But in the embroidering business, you have to learn from experience, as a lot of businesses. And so, when we took the class and we thought we can do it, we're like gun-ho, we're going to do this. And we learned. So I don't know.
And we're still doing it. And we're still learning.
So
it is a learning process.
Maybe you would have changed the order of that?
Yeah, probably. Maybe
Yes.
had a little more instructions when we started it, but the way we set it up, being as we were at my house, it was just us getting started. So it was okay because it didn't cost us a lot of money to get started other than the machines. And so we could just figure out our way.
Like a little bit of the blind leading the blind.
There you go.
It was. It was.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking with Rita and Sandy, and we're going to take a short break and go to our final segment today and talk to them a little bit about work-life balance and some of the wonderful things they've been able to leverage their business in to the community. So I ask, please stay with us, and we'll be right back with you.
Hi, I'm Joyce with the Corner Pub in downtown Conroe. We're located at the corner of Simonton and North Main, just across the street from the courthouse. The week starts off Monday with open mic, hosted by Alan, and Tuesday nights open mic, hosted by Jeremy Bankhead. And on Thursday evening, McFarland Jams. There's nightly drink specials available every night, all night. And don't forget, live entertainment every weekend. To see a full list of events, visit our website at thecornerpubinconroe.com. So come join us at the Corner Pub, where the deli is open late.
I'm Lauren Maddox for Lone Star College System. Lone Star College Conroe Center has teamed up with Workforce Solutions to provide free training for those seeking a career in the high-demand fields of machining or welding. If you are at least 18 years old, are currently unemployed, have no prior college credit, and meet the requirements to take the test of adult basic education, you might qualify for free tuition, books, and training to become a machinist or welder from Lone Star College Conroe Center. Students receive hands-on training, intense advising, and guidance on entering the workforce. New classes are starting this month, and Lone Star College Conroe Center offers a variety of class times, including late night and Sunday options that best fit with your busy schedule. Learn more about this opportunity and see if you qualify at lonestar.edu/ABE Innovation or call 936-521-4552. I'm Lauren Maddox for Lone Star College System.
You're listening to Lone Star Internet Radio now for your daily weather report. Today is Monday, May 12th, 2014. There's a 50% chance of rain today with the high being 86. Southeast winds will be 10 to 15 miles an hour with gusts as high as 20 miles an hour. Later tonight will be cloudy with a low around 71.
This weather forecast is brought to you by Donna Wick Public Relations. You've seen the billboards. That's right, Wicked Publicity. Contact them today at 832-326-1965 and visit them at wickedpublicity.com.
Welcome back to the Weekly Business Hour. This is Rick Schissler, your Silver Fox advisor. We're in the final segment of our program today, and we have two lovely ladies here with us. Been visiting with Rita and Sandy Von Arb of Sary's Creations, talking about how to start a business. They've been at it for 9 years, and we've had a lot of fun, and I think they've offered some wonderful advice to people who are out there considering starting business or are already in their business. The final segment of our show, I like to always give everyone an opportunity to talk about their work-life balance and what that means. As entrepreneurs or folks that start businesses, sometimes we get our head down. We're working so hard, 24/7 it seems like. I have clients who do that to start, and we lose track of what's going on in the rest of the world, our life, our family particularly. Talking to you two young ladies earlier today, y'all do a lot of things outside the business to help the community, and I'd like to have a little bit of conversation. Tell us about what you do.
Well, one of the things we do is that because we're so blessed in our business, that we try to give to some charity. We pick a charity each month and try to donate either items or monetary donation back to them to help out. And there's so many of them out there to choose from, but we try to choose one, and because we say we're so blessed.
And a lot of times, Rick, we'll be at certain meetings and we notice somebody needs help, and we'll go back to the office and say, okay, we're going to donate, a certain amount of money, and we're going to help that group. It could be anybody, anywhere. In the local areas, we really try to stay in the local areas. We've helped at Lions Club quite a few times, and Back to Basics Ministry. I mean, we just try to do a little bit because we are blessed. And we really want to give back to the community in any way we can. And when people ask us for help, a lot of times we will give a donation. As she said, it could be backpacks, it could be clothing, a lot of different things. So we want to do whatever we can do to help out the fellow man.
Well, let me ask you this, and I'm just getting a sense of this, and tell me if I'm correct, is you basically come across these opportunities because of your networking and just knowing.
Yes.
Because there are people in these groups that are involved in particular causes, and you hear them bring up or ask for a donation, and so you seize that up. Is that what happens?
That's usually how it happens.
True. Yes.
You know, I find that very interesting because you've made a good point earlier today about your networking and how it has been that with the referrals and building your networking. So in a sense, you're leveraging that networking opportunity in another way, and that is to give back to the community to a variety of causes. Is that a fair statement?
That's very fair.
Exactly true.
A lot of the networking groups we've made really good friends in, and so we back and forth. We help them, they help us. So it's really worked out well for us.
Yeah.
Well, and I think this is a wonderful lesson for any of us in business, and the ability, because I know I volunteer time, and it's always one or two particular groups, and I get involved, and but this way you're spreading it around. Also, I understand from our conversation prior to the show that you give money, you give product. I mean, you're open to time, product, money. What is that a fair statement?
Yes, sir. And we've even been a drop-off point for different Toys for Tots. We've done a lot of different things, and we'll be a drop-off point for food drives, clothing drives, jeans, just different things that people want to do. And we'll say, drop it off at our place. We'll get it to where it has to go. So whatever people want to do, and now that we'll have a storefront, we can really be right out there in front of somebody more than what we've ever been. So we really want to give back more than what we ever have in the future. That's our goal. I think one of our goals for sure.
Well, I would like to suggest to our listeners is that what you're hearing, and I think this as a business advisor is a great way to utilize your network, and if you have a heart for it, is to constantly look for opportunities to use your business. If you have a product or service particularly that lends itself to being used as a giveaway or an auction item or directly related to the charity, give your time. Obviously, anyone can write a check, anyone can give their time, but I think in a product sense, any of you, embroidery work, shirts, things like that, but using that networking, that just gives you another strength, I believe, in your networking, because I already beguiled, the trust. It's all about trust and building that trust, and you've got another building block, and I don't see a lot of people use that. I'm excited about what you've shared today.
And
it's very exciting.
It makes you feel good when you do something. I mean, if I help somebody out, that's the best feeling I think I could ever have. And I always, pray that I'm not the one in those certain situations, but no one ever knows what's going to happen to them. Maybe someone had a fire at their home and they lost everything, and if there's something that we could do to help them, or whoever it is, you just always want to say, we can help that person in any way we can.
Well,
so.
Sometimes it's people that are in the breast cancer walk, and we'll do a shirt for them. They may have requested us to do the shirt, but we'll do it and give that to them, not make them pay for having it done. Just because we figure it's one more thing, and they're doing an awesome thing by doing the walk, which we're not doing, and so we try to help them out that way too.
Well, I congratulate you for having what I'd call an open mind every day as part of, I think, that positive attitude that you bring to the table that I've picked up today. Well, let's talk just a bit, since we're on work-life balance and kind of winding down today. One of the things that you said is you got into business for yourself, or really the primary motivator I heard was driven by your families, because you felt not as restricted as you were in a job working for someone else. Have your families, have they thrived with you being in business for yourself?
Well, I have an example I can give. My son just got married last weekend at our home, small wedding, and because of all of our networking that we've done, I had a photographer there. I had just several things. We borrowed a microphone from somebody else we knew. My kids were amazed at how many people we know that from us networking, that we'll help them, they'll help us. And it didn't cost me a lot of money, and, I could pull off all these little fun things that they got to do too.
So they got some extras in the wedding.
They did, and it pretty much amazed them, because they were commenting on that just over the weekend about all the people
Well, that's wonderful.
You do get to know a lot of people in this business, and a lot of services that they perform. And even like a shutter booth where they can come in and take photographs. She had one, and I had one at my house. And, just people want to do things with you, just like you want to do things with them, because that gets them out there in front of everybody, and it's only going to help their business and our business in the long run. Yes,
and we've traded out with a lot of people by doing products for them, and using their service also, which is awesome also.
Wow, that's interesting. But you would say at the end of the day, you're obviously your husbands are partners, but your family said it has been the right move. You would say, looking back, to go in business for yourself.
Oh yes, definitely.
So you've achieved that goal, and that is that flexibility.
That's right.
And
how's the family in Minnesota? They feel the flexibility?
Somewhat, yes.
Okay.
They do. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Well, ladies, I want to thank you so much for being with us today. This has been one of the more interesting shows. We had partners, we had family. You bring a lot of ingredients that can a lot of times make up for roadblocks. A lot of folks can't do with partners. There's a lot written about taking on a partner. Again, I am one that it fits the way I work. I work better with partners. A lot of people don't. and then family. I worked with family. You've worked as a family. Your husband's work is family, and a lot of times that leads. In fact, I have several clients I work with trying to sort out family and the different roles, particularly as generations come along. Last question: 3 to 5 years down the road, where do you see the business?
Well, hopefully we have gals working for us and we're out networking, and by that point we'll probably have somebody doing the bookkeeping. We won't even be doing that part. We'll just be out there.
And we can give back more to the community also.
Yep.
So you'll be the chief marketers, and that'll be your primary responsibility.
And we want people out there to really follow their dream and get out there and just do something that they love. That's what we want to see other people do. We tell people all the time, do what you love to do. Get out there and do it. Just don't let something stop you. Go and do it.
Well, and I think the marketing part is important for us to do, because we know our business better than anybody else. Right. So who's the best person to market it?
Right. Well, I think that's a worthy goal, to build it to the point where you have that job and primarily that job only.
Yes.
Well, now, speaking of people to get out there and go do it, if they want to go find you after May 14th, if I remember the date that was in the email, tell us how to find you.
Well, from here in Conroe, south on I-45, and get off at Spring Cypress, and just stay on Spring Cypress about 1.5 miles, and we're on the left at 3315 Spring Cypress in Spring, Texas.
Now, is this in Old Town Spring?
No.
Or it's the other direction, the west?
West.
Okay.
Yep. West.
So what's that address again?
3315 Spring Cypress.
Okay, and the name of the business is
Sary's Creations.
Right, we were talking about that earlier, about you can pronounce that a different way. What's a phone number if somebody just wants to call and see if you can do something?
832-492-7475.
Give us that one more time.
832-492-7475.
Well, again, thank both of you for taking the time and coming up here and sharing some of the wisdom and experience. You both are smiling, and I tell you, I think if I go in your front door, I'm going to smile as well, regardless of what kind of day I've been having.
Thank
you again.
And
I also want to thank you, audience, for being with us today and listening to this wonderful story that these ladies have built in building Sary's Creations, and encourage you to check out their business if you need any kind of embroidering work done. Belated Happy Mother's Day to all the moms in our audience. As I mentioned earlier, we weren't on yesterday. And I encourage anyone, if you have a chance today and you have a mom, grandmom, great-grandmom, give them a hug and tell her every day is Mother's Day, just not the date on the calendar. Thank you for joining us today. And until next week, please keep your dial right where it is on good old Montgomery County Community Radio, IR Lone Star, broadcasting from the heart of downtown Conroe. See you next week, partner.
Hey everyone, this is Tina, your host from Retro Saturdays. I wanted to invite you to visit the Lone Star Studios here in downtown Conroe, Texas. We're all volunteers here, and we need your help in serving the Montgomery County area. Radio media is a fun field to be in. Lone Star Internet Radio serves Montgomery County with news, current events, local programming, and of course, music. If you are interested in volunteering and sharing your talents in media, go to irlonestar.com and let us hear from you. Lone Star Internet Radio, serving Montgomery County from the heart of downtown Conroe.